video is how to paint figures, and I've bought 3 sets. They come in pairs, driver and Firemen, for the Hornby Peckett loco, which is quite open cab, especially one of them's got a completely open back. And I think you get, get the right order. They get this from ModelU, you know, that 3D printed people, and they are very good. But a right pain to remove from their well, it's not a sprue as such, it's a base with lots of vertical columns that hold everything in place. So there's we got crew 1, crew 2, slightly different poses. You don't want them all the same. Well, you can, but I suppose I don't. So I'll put that away. Now, here's some I did earlier. Now these are actually O gauge ones. The Peckett ones are all. Try and hope this thing focuses. A bit round behind, that's better. Need something bigger to focus on. This is a driver, O gauge, or steam loco, which I've done. And a lot of the videos how to get the I think the overall colour. It's not denim, but it's a bit like denim in the colour, isn't it? Different shades of blue, darker blue when new and fade into, well, extremely pale blue. And there's his Fireman. A little bit of detail around the neck, and I often had neckerchief type things, so I'll be doing a bit of red just to give that flash of colour, otherwise everything ends up being basically blue, one shade or another. Of course these will be much smaller in 00 size, 4mm size. And there's the Fireman, and there's the driver. The driver's still on the sprue. You can see the Fireman's got a little red neckerchief, and he's wearing a waistcoat of some description. So I've done that a fawny brown colour. I'll be duplicating that. So basically these are the ones I did earlier, Blue Peter style, but in the wrong order, before, rather than after. So for the overalls, I looked through my collection of paints. I've got quite a lot. There's like three colours of blue that sort of give overall colours. I'm using this one as a base coat. This is one of those blues you think, is it blue or is it grey? And it's MAT 144 and it's called intermediate blue. Intermediate between what, I don't know, but that's what it's called. And we got a semi-worn sort of denim colour, which is MAT 109, and a brand new denim, like a brand new Levi type colour, which is MAT 25. So we start off with this one, all over, well, all over the obviously the coat and the trousers, and then the other ones you put on a bit like a wash to give variation, because you don't want them all a uniform colour. It looks too samey. But the first thing I did with the men, so I've already done one crew, and here's the other pair, 2 pairs. You notice the plastic as supplied is grey, and then using my, which I mention in every video I use with painting, I've primed them. As I said before, you in other videos you won't be able to get hold of this stuff, but you need to prime them. So primer of your choice, but I use this stuff, Aerospace acid etch primer. So it's an acid etching primer. It's like water, so these fine details do not get lost with another layer of paint. And basically, well, look at it, it's like water, hear it? And so it has a thickness of like 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch, or thereabouts, basically nothing. Now, I've done that in advance because anyone can do the priming, because it's all over the bits you're going to paint. So you get, in this case, you get this greeny look. But most primers are grey. I will mention that the primer, an available acid etch primer or etching primer in the description, but we're not doing that bit. So let's do one driver and one fireman. Put those back. So I've already, there's the paints over there, you can see them. There's matte black, typical white man flesh colour, a bright red, any mate, as that happens to be Revel, doesn't matter as long as it's bright red. And a matte white, I haven't got matte white, it always seems to dry up when I find it, so I've got a satin white and that's drying up too, but it'll do on these tiny little areas that we need. So you start off, I think, we say the face, these little details. Where's something pointy? That'll do. What can we see? Is it focusing? I think it is. Right? No, it's not very easy. The face, followed by his shirt and his neckerchiefy thing, the things that are deepest in there. Because then if you splodge over onto the jacket is easier to do, actually. So you do the fine details first and then do the jacket and trousers afterwards. That's what I've been doing. I find it easier. I have no idea whether this would come out on film very well, because these things are tight. You need a very steady hand. You need some fine brushes. So here's the two brushes I use at the minute. That's a 3-0. It's not focusing too well today, this camera. Used to focus great. So 3-0, it doesn't matter about the make. You've got to have a very accurate end. No fluffy bits sticking out at angles. So you've got to get in more like a pin, really, to touch those fine details. And what's the other one? A 5-0, isn't it? Oh yeah, get it in the light. The one's a bit longer than the other. So make sure those ends are nice and sharp. Like that, against my fingers. So I'll rotate them around, there's no bits sticking out. That's critical, I think, to get a good job. So I'm going to start off with a face. I've already pre-thinned, that's matte 61. It looks alright on the faces, even though it looks very bright in the tin. When you applied it over the primer, it's not so bad. Now remember to wash your hands, so then I'll put my special glasses on. I'll probably have to zoom in this video in post-processing and have a go at doing his face. Oh, where's that? Dip the brush in first so it's not purely dry. Tiny little amount. I do hope this focuses. Actually, it keeps focusing on them. I'm going to put them out of the way. I can see something flashing on the screen. I like to focus on what I'm pointing at, not other things. Tiny little bit on the end. You might have to do this 2 coats for the flesh. It doesn't stand out too well. Dub it on. Don't go too far around the back because that'll be his hairline. Under his chin. Under the hat. Don't touch the hat. Finish off about where his ear is. A little tiny bit more. You might have to do a second coat of the flesh. But if you think about it, after a day's work, their faces would have looked a bit smutty. So if it's not totally flesh coloured, but it's got a grey appearance to it, it's probably not the end of the world. So you can look under the hat. These haven't touched that, because that'd be black. Most hats are black, aren't they? Railwaymen's hats. Seems to be a flat cap type. Something with the lid, probably thicker there. Oh, that's that one. Looks alright. I'll do that was the driver actually. Another fireman. He's got a flat cap, proper one, like I've got. Got a couple actually. Careful not to break the spade off when you're holding it. Probably got attached too much paint on the brush at this stage. You can see it's a bit blobby. And if it gets a bit thick round the eyes and the ears, then stroke through it, holding the thing still. Still in the right place. There's his ear there. Just there. Going round the neck, under his chin, and under the hat. Under the chin. This is where these little brushes. I'm not bad at this. You've got to have a steady hand. You can't do it otherwise. Got a bit green there, isn't it? Green round the gills. Certain colours go on very easy and certain ones don't. And I think certain whites don't go on very well, and this flesh doesn't go on too well. There you go, you see him. But his face is fresh coloured-ish. Might need a light coat, another one, but I'm not doing that in this video, I don't think. Oh, I don't know. The trouble with the nails is it takes 12 hours overnight to dry. So these things take a long time. Right, now I'll do the... Oh, I know I haven't done. Of course, his hands, the hands. Oh, you've got it out, must do their hands. Dear me. Forgot about that. It's part of it. Now, I'll check. Sometimes, like this one, has he got rolled up sleeves? He has. He has rolled up sleeves. Yeah. I can see it. What is up with this flesh coloured paint? It's all stirred up and it still doesn't cover very well. I'm not a fan of acrylics for this sort of thing. They dry too quickly and can't manipulate them. You can like twiddle it in the light. You have to look for the details. So the lighting's got to be good, because sometimes you think, like one of the drivers of that O gauge, I've given him a tie, then you look online for what ModelU did showing it, and there's no tie there, but I saw a tie. Maybe whoever they paid to paint it didn't notice it. We have to turn them around in the light to catch all the shadow lines and creases, because it's all there if you can see it, and if you look. There. Now it's focusing on a blooming tin of paint. Get out of the way. Stop focusing on things. Focus on the man. There we go. So now the other bloke. The fireman. I don't know if you call firemen or stokers. Right, now he's also got bare arms. This one's quite easy to see. You know, turn it slightly and then you might catch it in the, you can see it. Deliberately took, so it got more paint on there. Stopping every 3 seconds. Well, if you've got hairy arms, there's nothing I can do about that. Can't paint hairy arms. Got to do round the back, yeah. There's one arm. And come to light. On the back. It's covered most of it, I think. Oh, what can you see? Yeah. It's only flesh you're going to see, I think. Okay, so we finish with the flesh. Now I think we do things like the red neckerchief. Clean the brush. Tin back on. Right. That red next, I think, as I said. Now Revel paint, it tends to be a lot quicker drying than Humbrol paint. So lucky if you want to do a large area, it could be a problem, this stuff. But now, which one has the neckerchief? Be careful how you pick these things up. Right? And I've got paint there, so God, you knocked the paint over. Got away with that, didn't I? Don't know if you saw, you would have seen that. Nearly had a disaster. Right, I'll try not to touch him, you see. Now, even with my close-up glasses, it's hard to define whether he's got a... Well, I did it on the other one, didn't I? Is he the one with a... Yeah, he's got a waistcoat on. Very hard to see. Put the paint over there. Try and stop the camera focusing on things over there. Right. Tiny dog. Yeah, see the tiniest little dog. See that? I suppose you want to see some of the paint, don't you? Now, this using the fingers, touch the fingers to act as a, so everything's together. And if it moves, the whole lot moves together, but it doesn't, it's not doing this. So let's go in at an angle and touch just under his chin. Maybe something there, like that. A little bit more. Touch it on with fingers to fingers. rotate the brush if you have to. Yeah. You don't want to do 2 coats of this, you want to get it first time around. There you go, something like that. Well, it should go around his neck a little bit. Maybe it should go around his neck a little bit. It'd be showing just above the collar, wouldn't it? I guess. This is tricky. You can't be able to see because it doesn't help you doing wet on wet. Turn it around and do the same this side. Doesn't help when the paint doesn't actually want to come off the brush. So wet the brush. A bit turtle. Goes around that edge. Okay. I think. Right, so that'll do for his little red bit, I think. See it? I don't think he has a neckerchief, this one, does he? No, I think that's a white shirt for him, I think. Oh, I don't know. I have to look at the previous one I've done over here. It's not very similar. Oh, I did give him a neckerchief. I'll give him a little red dog. Other colours just won't show up against a blue. He might have a blue neckerchief thing, mightn't he? But or a green one just won't show up. You want some little flash of colour. Could use yellow, I suppose. That yellow would be a tricky colour to get right. So just get him in the right place and just give him a dob in there. It's quite hard to define what you're looking at in there actually. It's multiple layers. Could be a neckerchief and a shirt and a jacket, or just a shirt and a jacket. So these things have shrunk down so much. The glass has hit this. So I've got a bit of green under his chin now. I have to go over onto the green a bit and I'll remove it. Right, I now need to remove the bit on the green. So what I use is the other brush. Bit of terps, and you can see that here. You can see that just about. A little bit off, not a lot. Now, just wipe it across the sides of the green. The green won't come off because that's been on there a few days. Like that. Takes it off again. That's in the own shadow, that is. There. That's got it off. Remember not to touch the fleshy bits. So now you want a white shirt. white's quite tricky. I think they got white shirts. Well, the last Fireman I did with a blue shirt, but this time I'll do it with a white shirt. Don't want them all the same, do I? So, white. I don't like the white. It's not got very good coverage. I like paints that cover in one brush stroke. And this doesn't very well. So I might have to give that another stir with my special bladed stirry thing. You can see, if you look in that tin, you can see all the skins that keep forming this paint. See that? It's most annoying. They don't last very long, white paints. Umbro. But each paint uses different chemicals, isn't it? So they're not all identical as they think they are, they're not. I think white is made of titanium. I found out really recently, even though I'm an engineer, that titanium isn't that rare. But processing it costs a fortune, so titanium metal is sort of rare. Right. Where's that brush again? There we go. No, wrong one. Oh, there it is. So, can I give this bloke, a fireman, yeah, a white shirt. Touching the top of the head like that. I've already done that bit, haven't I? Dipped it in there. So, well, the sleeves are definitely white, aren't they? That's a ruffle over the top there, you can see. Slightly overlap his arm, otherwise you end up with a green line. That starts to look better already, doesn't it? You start to see the form when it starts changing to different colours. Where's our little dot that's there? What's that? It's like a printing, 3D printing thing. There you go. Yeah, it's like a little hole. They shouldn't be there. That's a printing problem. That's better. Now you can start to see some form. It's like he's now wearing a barber waistcoat in that typical white cotton green stuff. Oops. Bit too much there. It's tricky working out where his shoulders actually are, where the waistcoat ends and the shirt starts. Putting backwards in a line might work better. The paintbrush stroke line might work better backwards. If the waistcoat will have to be done after this white is dry, I can't do that as well. There's no way. If one does overlap the other, you can't take it off like I did that red over the green primer. Sort of looks right at that angle, doesn't it? Does it look right at that angle? Let's try to tell which is waistcoat and which isn't. No, I think there's a bit more sleeve there. This is awkward. Not very obvious. Oh, maybe that's a waistcoat there. There's some white got under there. Have to deal with that later. Not this side's different. This one's moving about. This man, he moves. Look, he wobbles. It doesn't help when you're trying to do an accurate line. He gives every time I touch him. Yeah, it don't look right, does it? There's something not right there. Oh, he's disappearing off the thing here, so I can get a better view of him. One brush again. Oh, that's a brush I want, that one. Yeah, it wasn't this difficult on the other one. I think it's crew 1, crew 2, they're subtly different. And this one, I don't know what's going on here. Can't tell where one stops and the other starts. This isn't right, is it? Get a bit of paint under the armpit like that. So that picks it off. Slightly, just want it damp, don't want it dripping, as it will just run the white all over the place. So removing it, it'll spread it. I don't have to remove all the white because you're going to paint over it with a different colour anyway, so obviously that waistcoat goes over his shoulders. See, that must be the edge there. Something like that. One side isn't quite as defined as the other, but we'll worry about that. Now, is he wearing a shirt? Taking a while, isn't it? Taking longer than it should do, in my opinion. That's why the O gauge are better. They've got better definition. But most people don't do O gauge, do they? Oh, let's look at my other man. How have I done him? Where is he? There he is. Yeah, there is a bit of shirt there. Even that wasn't very defined. This is going to be really tricky because I mustn't touch that. The red. So you don't want a blob. You want paint on your brush, but not a blob. That's why the blue is easy, you see. It's darker. It's not so obvious. I don't like that. Something like that, I suppose. They all come together when you put the next colour on. It's not guaranteed that actually is a shirt, but needs removing. There's so much on that side. Probably a little bit there you don't want. There you go, something more like that. Only talking a few thousandths of an inch here. Right, put him down. Is there any shirt showing on this one? It's quite a warm day today. It's going up to 25 or something, maybe 30 tomorrow. Which is not the best thing for doing painting. Now, what did I do him like that? This other bloke. Is there a white shirt on him? There's something I've painted in there. Wish there wasn't, but there's not really. I don't think I need to. That jacket of his is well closed up. So what we can do is his black hat, I suppose. Which should be matte black. Where's the lid? There it is. Black. Hats are matte, boots are gloss, but then they get covered in soot, which mats them down again. But I'll still paint them in gloss, and the weathering bit later on soots them up a bit. So where are we again? We'll start with this one again. No matter which order we do it in, does it? It's easy doing the top of the hat because it overlaps everything, so your brush just slides off without hitting anything. See, like that. Now it's the underneath bit you got to get right. Things like the hairline, which there is there, especially at the back, because they're all short back and sides in those days. So there's not a lot down the sides, you know. Just, oh, just hit the camera. My glasses. And that's fine. A little bit of green there, I don't want. Yep, that's him done. Firemen. Paint his shovel as well. The bottom bit is black. The handle is wood, from what I saw on their website. You can't see the join. It could quite easily have been all metal. When you weather it back with a bit of silver where it would have been scratched, because the paint wouldn't have stayed on there, would it? Back just there, the line of it. Notice my finger still keeps resting on the other hand. Yep. Painting round. Turn the brush out of us, that's what I paint from the other side of the brush. Now a bit under the peak. Oh, I keep doing that. Having to get so close to it to see what I'm doing. The edge of these, they're basically safety glasses, like repurposed. I'm worried he's going to fall off this thing because he's wobbling all over the place. You see it moves, so see, look. Anyway, yeah, that's that bit done. Put a bit of tape on there. And paint the shovel. Where I saw it goes up to about there, the metal bit. Like that. Turn him round. Yeah, he's wobbling about, isn't he? Dear. He's come loose. Oh, it's just brittle, so he could just fall off. Oh, he's leaning. I might have to finish with this shovel, and that'll do for this bit. Let the paint dry. No, I don't want him falling off, I can help it. You see him wobbling about. I'm going to hold him by the legs. I won't bother with the boots, because black's black, isn't it? Now, most people can paint some black boots. Leave him there for a minute and come back tomorrow when it's all dry. Well, the paint has dried overnight, and I'd say a lot of the flesh colour on the faces and arms, especially the arms, is probably okay because they would have got pretty dirty anyway, and they give that sort of powdery, dusty black look. You see there, I don't know. So now I'm going to put the, what I call it, the undercoat, if you like, of the denim. Well, it's not denim, I don't know what it's stuff's called, but apparently it's not called denim, but it covers the same colour range that a lot of denims do. So, which is this intermediate blue colour I mentioned earlier. So I'm using a slightly larger of the two small brushes. So just a case of bunging it on. Now he's wearing a full jacket, or is he? No, he's not actually. Different lighting conditions. Or was it a different crew? This crew 1 and 2. This one actually is also wearing a waistcoat. I'll just see a line just at the end across there. You can see it on one side only. Really? Ah, that means he should have had some kind of sleeves. Well, he can also have a blue shirt on then. I'm not going to do the white one again. So we do his blue trousers anyway. I did the gloss boots. You can see his gloss black boots earlier today. It's going to be a heat wave starting. It's going to be 28 degrees today. It's about midday at the minute. The sun hasn't come round to the windows of my side. Don't want to keep hitting the phone with my glasses. So it'll get too hot then for doing this. The people are hitting, figures will heat up, and the paint won't flow well. I'm trying to work out where the that must be. I assume his trousers go right up to there. I wonder what that funny shape was on the other man. The little bit that sticks out the back, that's the little slit they have where it goes over his posterior. When you sit down it doesn't split it, it spreads out a bit. So we're just going to do the light overall colour, if you like these. So not overalls at all. What do they call the overalls that have, they come up with a bib and brace type? Is that what you call them? Bib and brace? Something like that. Sort of thing a toddler would wear. Was once a fashion statement back in the late 70s, early 80s. I think it looked terrible going down a pub wearing a boiler suit. Do his legs. Try not to go on the boots, because the boots I presume are still slightly tacky. We've done his there's a bit of green. It's hard to see in this light sometimes whether what is green and what is blue. But you're going to go over it again with another shade of blue to give the shadow detail. So there you go, there's his trousers done. So now I've got to do his sleeves. Okay. I can definitely see a line that side, just there, the end of my brush going down there, which is, but there's not an obvious one this side, so I'll have to invent it. About the same distance, about there. Because the waistcoat would be a lot stiffer and of better form than a loose fitting shirt. Go down to the cuffs, that's rolled up sleeve, shall I say. Alright. Across the top there. And see it. Focus. Right, it's easier to see obviously, but they did wear sort of blue shirts as well. That's quite common, I think. This is awkward down here. I'll get underneath him now. Rolled up sleeve bit just there. Under the arm. And you can see the is that line there it is. Okay. Once it goes underneath the arm just there, you can see it this side. Definitely a sharp outline of a waistcoat, but this side there isn't, nothing at all. That's probably why I missed it on the first one I did. So I have to invent that shape there, that side. It's not easy for you to see, I suppose, is it? Anyway, there he is. Of course, there's still the hairline to do and things like that, but put him back. Now, poor old Fireman, he did fall off of his weak base. I mean, wobbling around yesterday. So, I have to hold him by the top. So apart from the hairline, I've painted most of that anyway, so. Just need to paint his trousers, that's all. In this blue colour anyway. You can make them darker blue, medium blue, or more or less just leave them as they are, depending on what shade of the material you want. They weren't particularly uniforms, I don't think. Twiddle him round. The bottom of the boots haven't been painted, so I can touch him on the soles of his boots. On the sides, don't touch his arms. There's a lot of these painted figures, you can only appreciate them in magazines and in photography. And you zoom in, you won't see it with a naked eye on a layout. You just do it because you can. Your own satisfaction of your skills. Skill building, you might say. Not sure I've done the inside is crutching and all that up there. I think I have. There. What can we see so far? That's about all I can do really, as far as the video is concerned. So far, that is. Right. Put him over there, suppose he'll stand up, put him that way around, so he's on the tops of his boots, so his trousers aren't touching the ground. I'll do for this bit. Wait for it to dry, and then the next stage. And again, the paint's dried overnight, so it's now going to be 30 degrees today. So this is now midday-ish, and the sun luckily is at the other end of the room, so not coming through the windows next to me. That's why I've got to get this done. That'd be far too hot otherwise. So I'm going to do what we call the hairline and a little bit of light brown, and then do the overall wash to have the two-tone effect, which shows the details of the creases. So a little diddy bit of brown. This is a pale brown. What is it? Which one is it? It does for most people's hair. 110, 110, matte 110. But of course, any colour to suit. I just limit most people to the same colour hair. It's such a tiny little area that no one's going to notice. Basically, they're all short back and sides in those days, so just a little bit behind the cap. On a bigger model figure, like the O gauge ones, they're big enough that you could actually do some of their sideburns in front of their ear hole. That's it. There's a little bit of hair there, up to the back of the ear hole, like that. That's what you need to do there. And this one's got a spade. Apparently the shaft in the ModelU's own website shows that shaft as wood, so you can use that same brown. Okay, I think is what's so small on this one. That little bit sticking out there is the end of the T-handle sort of thing. It's a microscopic amount of paint to do this. Even with the close-up glasses, this starts to get awkward. It's easy to do on the O gauge ones. Just turning around. Of course, I haven't got the thing to hold on to him anymore. The base. So I'm holding on to his boots. It's too small to do the handle in his hand. You can on the O gauge. You can see it coming through his hand, but I'm not going to. No one's going to notice that tiny little bit. And you risk going over his flesh, so you end up making a mess. So just leave it like that. That'll do for him. I look at this one. I'm thinking that green from your primer is a good green. I'm sure like a moleskin green waistcoat, as in sort of like sage olive green, is about right. So I might just leave that one. I don't need to paint that waistcoat. I need a little bit more white on the sleeve just there, you might notice. A bit missing in that corner. I'll do that. Other than that, I just need the overalls tied up a bit. And which is the driver I was doing? I think it's this one. I think it's this one. No. Is it that one? Or was it this one? Oh no, he's got the two-tone overalls done on this one. That's what it'll look like eventually. Yeah, no, it's not him. Must be this one though. The areas are so small. Oh yeah, because this one hasn't got a... He's also got a waistcoat, hasn't he? So one of these is going to have to be brown. Let's do this one brown. The driver's got a brown waistcoat, and yeah, can't have the driver and the... For some reason he's got a bit of red on his back. Not too sure where that's probably come from that. See there, a little reddy tinge. No, I'm going to paint over it with this anyway, aren't I? So that's his ear, just there. That lumpy bit, so his hairline's going to be just behind that. Just see it. The hair and the waistcoat are going to be the same colour. Doesn't really matter, does it? I'm having trouble with this. Having his head at that funny angle and being right-handed. This is where it's good to be left-handed. That grey bit there. Get the brush at the right angle. A bit grey there, don't want that there. Right, after his waistcoat, worry about it then. I'm just going to go up there. Over there. That creasy bit, it splits at the back. Allow it to go over his rump when he sits down, not split. Just there. Remember, it is a waistcoat and not go over his sleeve. Easy to forget in this lighting. Lots of reflection when you put paint on its gloss. It shines back at you and you can't see very well. Now you got the tricky bit of doing it under his arms. Yeah, close-up glasses could do with updating. Get in here somehow. Not go over his sleeves, not go over the red neckerchief bit. Like that. Yeah, I think I've gone over his arm bit there, it shouldn't be there. Try and take that off afterwards, isn't it? Let's finish putting the paint on first. Before I start trying to get it off. Oh dear, I've left the door open. Banging and clanging, you can see, is my mother coming in from the garden. I have to put up with that. Oh, I can't see this bit here. Wherever I put it, it's in shadow. Did I do that? No, not bit yet. Get in here, between there and there, between his arm, down there, that's tricky. you've got to get at it from under here, haven't you? That angle. Not with a blue shirt, it doesn't show that much. It's very hard to see the definition between the two, the blue and the brown. I have to wing this bit. Just assume there's a line there. Let's go across there. That bit needs removing just there. Right, okay, that's that bit done. Wipe the paint off and take that bit of paint off the shoulder. Pick it up again from the base. Tricky. Where was it? That shoulder bit is not right. It's there. Yeah, look at this angle, you can see it's overhanging too much. See if this will soften it enough to disguise it. Get it around there like that. Take it off. They do these things in N-gauge, I think. I'm not sure how the hell do people paint those. That better? That's not right either, is it? It's overhanging like that. It won't be like that. Over the top. Can you see that now? See a sleeve here. Better over his shoulder there. A little bit more to come off the back now, I can see. You only see these creases of the outline in certain light. Be careful when you're using your best brush to do this sort of thing. So you don't use any side to side movement of the bristles too much, as you'll ruin the ends and they're fraying. Oh yeah, when you do this, you see the panel line of his coming. That's better. It's about right now, I think. And it's still over the top there. Right, it's getting a bit warm, you see, and it's drying on the model. I keep calling it a model. It is a model, isn't it? But it's a model of a human. What we call a figure. Is that it? Yeah. Look all right from the back. There's the back you see it best. Like that. Yeah. Okay. Oh. That missing bit of white I've got to do, and I'll just quickly do that. White. This is that horrible white, but I only want the tiniest amount there. Just to do the top of the sleeve. Don't think I even need to stir this. See, look, it's formed a skin again, see? Very annoying. Just burst it like that. Paint will be dense enough at that point. This bloke, isn't it? This one with the white. Actually, I quite like the white shirts. It works better than the blue, I think. So, Get in like that, and you can see there's that area there that's missing. Ta-da! Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah. Are you touching up anything else? I've got the white out. Yeah, that did it. That's perfect, that is. Yeah, the waistcoat is a lot more visible on this bloke than it is on that. The driver was leaning forward over himself in a hunch position. That's not so clever. Good. That makes a better job. I'm going to have to bang this one because you can see some. I need to get some matte white for my collection. Every time you come to use them though, they're all dried up. So, well, we're going to use the bigger brush again. Right, now I'm going to use this brush, that's a flat one. I don't know what. It's less than 1/8 inch. Oh, it is 1/8 inch. There you go. Small flat for this. For doing this over the blue. So here we go. Matte 109. Contrast and colour. I don't want the dark blue, which is matte 25. I have this slightly lighter one. So you can see what I'm doing. Don't have to, so I wet the brush first, take some of it off and just touch on it. We're not repainting it, we're just putting a hint of colour over it. So I pick up this one. No, I won't pick up the Firemen. I've just done his shirt, haven't I? So I need to pick him up somehow. I'm getting sweaty hands now, this is not good. Oh no, I have to hold him like that somehow. Let's do the back. What can you see? So again, the creases are all going down, so I'm going to go across. You can see the difference in colour going on, and I'm going to wipe it off. You haven't got to be accurate with this because it's like a wash, a thick wash. You see, not so easy to see, is it? Without that base for me to hold. But I've got to paint them anyway. I've only got so many men to do. So I'm putting it on quickly over the top-ish. The only accuracy is not to get it on other colours. But over the jeans itself, it doesn't really matter. So just putting a quick wash on. And that. And wipe the paint off the brush. A bit off a bit. So it's damp. And then literally just wipe it again in the same direction. That I should leave it in the creases. That's the idea anyway. Turn it over, do the other way. A bit like dry brushing. But you're taking it off, not putting it on. Putting down, picking up. Probably not so obvious with this one, this colour. It should be two-tone. Very subtle anyway. I'm going to put an angle like that. Okay, like that. It doesn't actually look a lot different. It does when it dries, I think. Definitely shows up better on the O gauge ones. Where's an O gauge one there? There, there's an O gauge man. You can see. Oops, where's the camera? Oh, nowhere near the camera, my lens. You can see the differences in there, definitely in there. Those bigger creases. darker and lighter. And it also works on the outside on the darker blue. You can see the highlights on the tops of the crests of the creases. But anyway, I'm going through the motions. Now the driver there, rather than use that two-tone very light blue, which is the original blue, which is one that's almost grey, which is that one, the intermediate, I could put the matte darker blue on. That would give a much bigger contrast. Don't worry about the banging down of those lids later on. I'll get this one out. You'll probably see a much better contrast on the driver. I'll give him. When you look at this paint, it's almost purple to start off with until you mix it. As I've used it a few times, lucky the mixing is alright. See, look, you ain't got big lumps on the bottom. Get that off. That's a very rich blue, that. I don't know what blue you call it. It's good enough for denim type materials. Wash that off. Oh, where's the driver? Well, his shirt's going to stay blue. His trousers are going to be darker. So I've done the same thing. Wet the brush. Take the worst off. Just touch on the bit there. Tiny little bit of paint. And you can see it there. Again, just slap it on. Carefully, of course. His trousers. Yeah, it's a lot easier holding. That's the first bit, and I'll take it off. Very little paint used. Umbrella won't make much profit out of this. Same again, and I'll just take it off. And that has a better effect. You can see that. Don't overdo it, you want to leave some of that blue in there, darker blue. Oh yeah, that works, definitely. You look at those creases in there, creases just there. You can see that contrast stand out now. Seeing down the bottom there. Yeah. It's alright. A bit of blue there that shouldn't be there. What's that in there? I mean, there's a bit of brown there that shouldn't be there. See it? It's there. Let's put that one as well. There you go. That's better. Different angle. Oh, miles away from the lens, aren't I? Dear me. Let's put them down then. I've got another man here. And the other one from a third crew. I actually have to do this. Another day. He's got some nice creases in his jacket. I'll demonstrate him quick. It's just for the jacket. Put the paint on. I don't paint. You don't want the jacket and the trousers to be the same. It looks more realistic when they're different. Because the jacket, I presume, will last a lot longer than trousers. Trousers wear out from sitting down and stuff, don't they? Jackets can last for decades if you look at them. Buttons fall off, but you put them back on, don't you? I haven't actually. I painted this set in the wrong order. You might notice. I haven't done his shirt or his neckerchief thingy. You can see his shirt underneath this. I have to be done the other way around. I do this mainly to demonstrate to you. Right, that's his jacket on. Put that down a minute while I deal with the brush. Pick him up again if I can. That's it. And take it off again. Keep going over there for some reason. Across the creases. Actually wouldn't it down there at all. I'm going over onto his backside there. Take that completely off, wash that right off, don't want that. Who's that? So I've got a put it down there, go. Yeah, that'll do. What we got? Can you see the difference? My hand helps there or not. It's only basically to make it force the camera to focus and not pick something else below it. You can definitely see a colour contrast and that big crease under his armpit coming down towards his back. Another crease right up by the nape of his neck. It shows up. Just turning around. Lots of creases there on that side. Yeah, they're sharp, I think. Better now. Right, put him down then. I think that's done as far as the highlighting the blue wear is concerned. And the next bit will be, I'll finish painting them myself. I don't need to paint everything on the video, it's far too long. And the last bit will be sootying them up a bit. But they're actually looking like clean washed old clothes now. They need to look like dirty old clothes. Okay. For the last little bit of detail, the shovel that the firemen are using is black with a wooden handle. I'm pretty sure with an awful lot of shoveling on a gritty coal and hitting the bottom of the loco tender or whatever, most of that black paint would have got scratched pretty damn quickly. So, but I wouldn't have thought of going rusty, but it'd definitely scratch it back to the metal, I think. So I'm going to give it a wash of silver to age it a bit. And here's the O gauge one. See, it's got a slight metallic sheen to it. It's not fully black anymore. Put it in the light. Anyway, so just a light wash. Now this is not silver. This is Humbrol 56. It's quite an old. This is really old stuff. This is. Oh, don't know how old that. Probably 1980s, maybe. I don't know. You look at a modern Humbrol tin, it looks nothing like that. Well, looks like that, with their more modern logo on it. That was when Humbrol was Humbrol, and nothing to do with Hornby. Yeah. It's still going. So I have pre-thinned it. I call it steel, it's like a dark silver. And as the shovel is steel, then that'll do. I've already stirred it to save time. So it's a case of wetting the brush, grabbing hold of the man. It's quite thick paint this. I did just thin it. It was a bit too thick. Let's go over lightly. Okay, put it on and take it off again, really. Both sides. Oh, let's get where you can see it. Up there. So there's one. Here's the other man. Tiny little bit. Like so. Obviously that one hasn't got a stand. Put the silver to the side. Wipe the brush. Silver you've got to get right off, so it's always wise to wash your brushes. Any metallic colour, it stays in there, in the what do you call it, the bristles. So give it a much more wash. Now this is that flat brush, it likes taking things off again. Just dampen it down, a little 1/8 inch flat one again. Take it and just go over it quick, like that, over the back, drag it down. I see some black and some silver, sort of like that-ish. I can see the silverish there. Well, it's not silver anymore. You can see the black showing through. Might be a bit more actually. Can be a bit tenacious, the metallic colours to get off. And this one. Over. I suppose the steel of the tender chute thing would scrape the bottom and the coal itself would scrape the top. There we go. Right, get a better view of it. Wash the brush first. Over that. I think that. So what can we see? The camera is focusing. I will zoom in on this post-processing hopefully and go around it and show the whole man. I might have to give him a neckerchief, this one, because I think I've been painting my third set of crew as well while I've been doing it. Gives more options. As you can see, they're quite different. I think they are. Yeah, they've got different hats on for a start. This one's got a flat cap, see? And that one's got, well, let's see his shovel first, so you can see it. Get in the light. Yeah, you see, is it focusing on my thumbnail probably more than the man. Going down, put them side by side. I might give them a go on my new turntable. There you go. Subtle differences, which is good. Having all these different crew variants, and I suppose if you buy different packs, you don't have to keep the pairs together. You can mix and match how you want them. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 different crew types. I've definitely got 3 anyway. Right. I suppose that's, yeah, this steel on there look really wrinkly. There it is. So again, I have to there we go, that's better, isn't it? Hey, do that too many times, you get metal fatigue and a kappa burr snap. Are they all that? Are they more modern? They're all like that now. No, that seems to be the way they are. Nothing else. Oh, that one's different. Oh, that's probably a even more modern one. Got 1, 2. I think we've got some kind of number on it. And that's the oldest one I got. How about that? The older ones like this last a lot longer than these modern ones do. They've changed the thinners. That's why the original ones actually say it takes 16 hours to dry. The modern ones, I think, are more like 6 hours. Though I'd always give them overnight. I'll never trust the 6 hours, because especially when you're doing these little things, you have to handle the bits of them. Anyway, so I think the next part will be showing you a dirty wash. But I've already filmed that, so mustn't tap my fingers on the video. So we'll leave it there for the time being. At the very end, I might even do a turntable job if I can get them to stay still. Well, I'm now going to give these steam engine drivers, these are the O gauge ones, easier for you to see. I've done the all the basic painting of the different colours, which hopefully you've already seen, and I'm going to give them a dirty wash, as they are, you know, soot and smoke and stuff. So we'll have a go at doing that. So using which is best for washes, I think, my own wash anyway, not a pre-made wash, Humbrol Matte 33, I'm sure everyone's got one of those. I have pre-stirred it to save a bit of time in case it's all solid at the bottom. Put the lid out of the way. Using one of these things, that's what the end you stir it with, that blade like thing, and and the other end is a little spoony type thing. But dipping a brush in will do the same effect. This mixing palette thing, I don't really need to add much, do I? Just for a wash of those things. Basically just one I'll do. 1 spoonful of that. You get a lot of waste when you do this. I'm sure you waste more paint than you ever use. Get that off of there. And white spirit in the brush washing stuff. It's already dirty, it doesn't matter. It's only more paint and it's only going to be basically a wash anyway. Don't actually get anything. And add, what's that? That's 3, 4, so it's 4 to 1, I suppose. Get the excess paint out of the spoony thing. Maybe another spoonful. Want it so still looks too dark to me. And now it's rather thick stuff, isn't it? Well, this stuff is like water. It's more a case of what it looks like on the side there. It runs off nicely like water. I do, I think. I've never done this one. I've done it on film before. It's normally a case of suck it and see. Good idea to put the brush, to put the tin lid top on again. Stop it. My favoured method. Always hold it when you do this. Make sure it's firmly on and flat so it don't dry out. Now, a very small flat brush. Don't suppose it's mate, but that's Art Master 1/8 inch Premium Series 302, if you're interested. Dip it in terps to start with. Make sure your hands haven't got paint on them when you grip it. Grip the man. These are the ModelU, if I haven't already told you that, I don't know. I'm not necessarily filming this in a logical order, start to finish. I think you're doing it back to front. So, dip it in the wheat mixture. I'll put it on his back first. I'm not going to need much, are you? No. I'm just going to put it on and basically take it off again. And it will stick where it sticks. Over his trousers. Remember, you're mimicking a real driver, not a preservation driver who probably doesn't get anywhere near as dirty as the real ones did in service. So brush it on, keep away from his underclothes, a little bit over his boots because they're too glossy. You can actually see that. Yeah. Top of his hat. His face looks, I don't know, I could put some on his face. Will that make his eyes stand out better? After all be taken off, he's very black, isn't he? There. Oh, that's well like more like a coalman or a sweep. However, get that off of there. Better there. Let's see what you can see on the lens. I'll bring it in. I've no idea. Let's put that white thing behind it. You can see it better. No, you probably can't. That light in the go in the shadow. Let's square to the lens and come in. There you can see. Now, he's rather dark now. So now, I'll show you a slightly larger one. Let's say this one. What's that? It's a number 4 apparently. A little bit bigger. Approximately a 1/4 inch, I suppose. I like flat brushes. They're more controllable. And just wipe across the, see all the creases going that way. Well, don't go with the crease. Go across them. Oh, let's get it off his face as well. If it'll leave his... got a little bit left in his eyes, I'm not sure. Dirty ears. You can actually see the ears on these people. You can see that, his ears. Just brush across, reclaim some of the blue underneath, but leaving the dirty sleeves. I suppose doing this does two things. It highlights, oh yeah, that sort of works. It highlights the creases by getting in the deep, giving deeper shadow. And it gives him a slightly dirty appearance, which I would assume he'd have after been shoveling coal for a whole shift. Not sure how long a shift would be. It's going to be a day's work, I suppose. Like that. Of course, it's got to dry. Now it looks slightly different, but definitely got those trousers looking sooty, haven't they? Whereas the backs are probably dirtier in the front. I don't know. Depends if he kneels down or sits in the dust. I don't know. But looks convincing enough. Well, hopefully. I'll do the driver. It was probably a bit cleaner, but I can't differentiate that. It's certainly a bit smarter looking. Now, I painted him with a tie. But on ModelU's own website, I don't think that was a tie, but the moulding looked like one, so that's what he's got. And this is a Great Western for the Lionheart Trains class 45XX. Then I thought Great Western is to be green. Oh, I've used the wrong brush here, haven't I? I want the little brush for this, not the big one. That one. That's better. Not to get on his white shirt and all that, but just his jacket. I won't do his face. I'll say as he was the driver, he wouldn't be sticking his nose in the coal hole, so he wouldn't be so dirty. But I expect his coat would be over you don't wash a coat every shift, do you? No idea how often they got cleaned. Once a month, once every 6 months, I don't know. Or his boots, because they would definitely get dirty. ground level where coal dust floating about and sparks from the firebox and whatever. I'm not going to be too accurate with this. Let's keep it away from hands and things like that. I do that already? I don't know. I think we've done all that bit already there. Can I do that bit? I'll do it again if not, like that. Okay, front of his trousers a little bit. They pull right up to waist level. Didn't notice that at first when I painted it. I don't seem to have modelled a belt though, or if it is I can't see it. Never mind, you won't see it anyway because I expect to be putting into the cab. So you won't see it anyway. Yeah. Using the larger brush again. Take it off. That's it. Ooh, yeah. To keep remembering, I've got to do it in front of the lens, haven't I? Do the jacket first rather than jumping about from jacket to trousers to jacket to trousers. Oops, got a bit on his white shirt there, and get it off. Now we do his trousers. Off of there. Right. Very good idea to put these on my new turntable later on. There you go. So his shirt is still reasonably clean. His face is clean. But most of the rest of it is dirty. I'll put that down there. Now we got there's a pair of Peckett drivers, Peckett crew, a Hornby Peckett crew next, which ModelU sell specifically for that loco. And I've got about 3 of them, I think, mainly in different colours because they look pretty. Now, one thing I did wrong, this is the first ones I got from ModelU, and there's an awful lot of those things that hold the model figure in place, and it's far too close together, and I cut this man off. What I should have done was, like on these next ones, you get, oh, where's the driver? Which one's the driver? I don't know, must be him. And they come as a pair in together, and I actually snapped them in two, so they both got a stand to stand on while you're painting them, and which means you can hold on like that and paint them a lot easier than having to hold the man himself. Figure, whatever you want to call it. Just a tip there, don't cut them completely off the sprue, leave the little bits for the feet on, but remove everything else. And they come with an, careful not to spill the paint, an awful lot of tools, Tiny little things, easy to snap and break. Don't know what I'm going to do with these on a tiny little model. Got some pole thing. You get a bucket full of spanners. And you get a little loco lamp, which is probably useful, that one. You could actually put it on the loco. It's got a slot underneath. You could fit it onto a loco. And well, it's really difficult to understand what it is, because you could easily throw that away when you cut them off. It's a tiny little oil can. I don't know where you're going to put these things on a tiny little Peckett. It's too much clutter, I think, for a model. All right, an O gauge, but double O, not sure about that. The OTT, in my opinion. Some of those bits are probably better to get in the cast metal versions. They're more robust. Right, so now I'm going to go at now these have been done in matte. As you can see, that matte's not very matte, is it? It's quite glossy. So anyway, take the brush in a bit of that, bit of black, and we just again just give him a quick going over up to his shoulders. And then a bit more. Coat's hanging open. You can't really do the front, that's it. Let's do over there. Over there, not to go with hands. Where am I? Like that. Again, I'll just take it off again. Well, this time I think I'll take it off with this brush, because this is a much smaller model, isn't it? So, clean, wipe across him. It must be slightly wet, isn't it? It's quite black there. Take it off. And there. Up there. It's trousers. Is that it? Done. It's hard to see this. I don't know what you can see. Alright, probably shows up better against my hand, doesn't it? And all that greeny background. Probably have to try the editing where you can clip the video or crop the video and give them a zoom in effect. Yeah. Oh, that's the driver. I think he's a driver. Looks more like a Frenchman selling onions. He's got a beret on, you can see it. Oh, the one that came with it is this one, who's actually a smarter looking bloke anyway. But he's got the shovel, so he must be the fireman or stoker. So all I need to do his trousers. He's probably taking his jacket off. It's hot work, I'm sure, doing shoveling coal. Tons of it a day. Let's do his strides. Careful not to get it on his waistcoat, which I've done in brown. Probably be some basic old tweedy effect, I would have thought. It almost look black now. Hopefully not for long. Turn it back to blue, dirty blue. swiddle him round. When I say swiddle him, I mean twiddle him. That's the trouble with no bit to hold on to. I've got to hold on to his head. That's the way you want clean hands, freshly washed, or you want greasy dabs all over it. I don't know if a little bit of black on his waistcoat might make the waistcoat show up a bit better. Keep going down the bottom of the screen, need to hear, don't I? Just put a tiny little bit around his waistcoat and take it off again. Actually, this area. Actually, it's so subtle you don't actually notice it, do you, really? Not sure it made any difference. Yeah, put it on and it just dissipates. This one's got a blue shirt. Right. There. Hard to see, isn't it? Never too sure what this thing's focusing on. Could have done the whole video and everything's blurred for I know, and it's been focusing on that corner or something stupid. It's always a risk with autofocus. Yeah, now. Okay, so that's my current stock. The other men I've got floating around here. That's another 125 driver for the new Midland Pullman. These are the Deltic crew, specialised from Acura scale themselves, and but they're still made by ModelU. And there's the Acura scale Deltic crew, and Peckett ones are those. There's two versions of them, Pack 1 and Pack 2, we've got both. Right, we shall put this little man down. So I'll let go of him. He looks small on the screen, he's not. I'll put him down and he can dry.